Welcome to One Book, where we flash through life-changing books in minutes. Today, we're diving into a book that can literally rewire your brain for success, Master Your Dopamine by Nick Trenton. This is part 1 of our complete breakdown. Let's begin. Sitting in the cool breeze of the park, Alex kept reaching for his phone in his pocket. Mr. Thompson noticed and said, "See that? Your brain has become so addicted that it can't sit still for even 5 minutes." Alex felt a bit embarrassed. "Yeah, it's become a habit. But is it really that bad? Everyone does it." Mr. Thompson pointed to a small plant growing in the grass. "This plant needs a little water every day. If I pour 4 buckets of water on it in one day, what happens?" "It'll rot," Alex said. "Exactly," Mr. Thompson replied. "Your brain is the same way. It needs a little dopamine daily. But you're dumping 100 buckets on it every day: reels, videos, games, junk food, notifications. How is it supposed to handle all that?" For the first time, Alex thought about it this way. Mr. Thompson continued, "Your brain thinks, 'Oh, I'm getting so much dopamine, this must be normal.' Then when you put the phone down, your brain says, something's missing. Quick, watch something, eat something, scroll something." Alex felt like someone had put his exact state into words. Mr. Thompson began a story. Once there was a boy named Marcus in a small town. He loved sweets. At first, he'd be happy just eating candy once in a while. Then someone took him to a fair, and he tasted cotton candy for the first time. Then fudge. Then chocolate, then cake, then desserts. Slowly, what happened? The simple candy started tasting bland to him. He thought, "How can this make me happy? I need that intense taste." His taste buds escalated, but his joy diminished. Eventually, no matter how much he ate, he didn't feel satisfied, only cravings. Like something inside was pulling him, eat more, eat more. His health deteriorated. His studies suffered. Sleep vanished. And his mind became restless. Alex leaned in, curious. Then what? One day, his grandfather said, "Marcus, you're not eating happiness. You're eating cravings. You've become a slave to that moment. Real sweetness only comes when the mind is calm." Marcus stayed away from sweets for a few days. It was hard at first, very hard. But gradually, his taste buds reset. And then one day, he ate that same simple candy and felt the same peace he'd felt years ago. Alex listened quietly. Mr. Thompson said, "Son, Marcus's sweets are our screens today. Our fast food. Our constant stimulation. The brain gets tired taking all this in. It thinks happiness means more stimulation. But real happiness comes when we can feel peace in normal moments, like the cool breeze, the smell of coffee, a conversation with a friend, or the satisfaction of finishing a task." Alex asked softly, "How do I reset my brain?" Mr. Thompson smiled. "This digital world is like a roller coaster. You ride the fastest, highest ride every day. Then when you come down, even the ground feels shaky. You need to do 2 things. First, give yourself moments of calm. Second, gradually reduce the intense stuff so your brain's balance returns." He told another quick story. There was a fish in the ocean that swam in strong currents every day. It thought that was life. But when it came to calm waters one day, it felt there was no fun there. Gradually, though, it realized that in calm water, it could understand its direction better, swim farther, and live longer without exhaustion. Sometimes life's work happens in strong currents. But the mind's truths are only understood in calm water. Josh felt this truth settling into his heart. He asked, "So is just reducing phone time enough?" Mr. Mitchell laughed. "If it were that easy, everyone would be happy. Reducing phone time isn't the cure, it's just the beginning." The real point is teaching your brain that low stimulation is okay too. Like sitting without any screen for a while. Walking a bit. Deeply engaging in some work. Sometimes even feeling boredom. Boredom? Josh asked, surprised. Yes, Mr. Mitchell said. Boredom is the door behind which creativity and reflection live. When you fill every empty second with your phone, your brain never gets a chance to think, understand, or feel. Your real productivity, real peace, real happiness, all come after that boredom. From that day, Josh started experimenting. In the morning, he didn't touch his phone for 20 minutes. At first, it felt like someone was stabbing him. Just watch one reel. But he took a deep breath and told himself, relax. This is a craving, not a need. After a while, he noticed his mind becoming clearer, like someone had wiped fog off his window. Within a week, when he kept his evening screen-free for 1 hour, he saw his focus improving. His mind tired less. And he started enjoying small things again, the peaceful sip of tea, sitting and talking with his mom, or just walking alone. He realized that the dopamine flood had prevented him from feeling what he already had. One day, back in the same park, he met Mr. Mitchell again. How's it feeling? Josh smiled. Happy, but not because of some high. Just, from within. Mr. Mitchell said, that's the real balance. The brain needs some stimulation. But not so much that it becomes hungry only for that. Josh thought to himself, real happiness isn't in excess. It's in the right amount, He had learned that dopamine isn't bad. The flood of it is. Happiness isn't what screams loudly and is forgotten in a second. Happiness is what slowly settles inside and lightens the heart. He took a deep breath, looked at the sky, and felt it. Peace is also a kind of happiness. You just have to lower the noise to hear it. Over the past few weeks, a little light had started to enter Alex's life. He wasn't as restless as before and was beginning to feel some peace. But the problem was that whenever pressure from studies increased or work piled up, he'd slip back into old patterns, picking up his phone, watching reels, watching anything, giving his brain small dopamine injections. He was starting to understand that the problem wasn't just habit, it was his brain's settings. Like when a TV's brightness is too high. Instead of the picture looking clear, the glare starts hurting your eyes. Similarly, his brain had become dizzy from constant high stimulation. On a lazy Sunday afternoon, he went back to the park, where Mr. Thompson was sitting in the shade of a tree, reading a newspaper. Alex sat beside him and said, Mr. Thompson, I'm trying, but my brain keeps asking for high-intensity stuff. Sometimes it feels like with so many notifications, so many videos, so much access around me, it's hard to stop myself. Isn't there some way the brain just calms down on its own? Mr. Thompson folded the newspaper and looked at him carefully. Son, for the brain to calm down, it needs a bit of a reset. Like a computer hangs when it's overloaded, same with our brain. And the way to reboot it is called dopamine detox. Alex heard this term for the first time. Detox. You mean give up the phone? Mr. Thompson laughed. No, son. This isn't a story about quitting your phone. It's about bringing your brain back to its original state, where small things brought happiness, like morning breeze, the smell of a book, a song, or someone's company. It's about bringing back the ability to feel all that. And dopamine detox is very effective for this. Curiosity lit up Alex's face. Mr. Thompson continued the story thread with a new situation. A few days ago, your little cousin Ryan came to visit. Ryan was only 12 years old, but his habits were like a seasoned gamer's, constantly on mobile games, short videos, checking the screen every 5 minutes. One evening, they were sitting on the porch together. Ryan was loudly talking about which game was best, which new series to watch, where to buy upgrades. But after 10 minutes, he suddenly went silent. Alex asked, "What happened, buddy?" Ryan said tiredly, "Nothing's fun anymore, bro. I play games, no fun. I watch videos, no fun. I feel like I always want more. And when I get more, I still don't get anything. What do I do?" Alex felt like he was talking to a younger version of himself. He realized this wasn't just his problem, it was a whole generation's problem. The brain had become a fast car that constantly craves to go faster, even if there's no destination. The next day in the park, Mr. Thompson said, "Alex, every person in the world is struggling like Ryan or you today. That's why many experts have developed a method, dopamine detox. It comes in 1-day, 3-day, and 7-day plans. It's like giving the brain empty space so it can start feeling small joys again." Alex immediately asked, "How does this detox work?" Mr. Thompson picked up some dirt nearby and rubbed it between his fingers. "First, understand this, detox doesn't mean giving up everything. It means giving the brain predictable, simple, low-stimulation activities for a while. So the brain's baseline can come down. When the baseline lowers, we can feel peace, focus, and small joys again." He explained further, "Imagine if you listen to loud music all the time, eventually, normal volume won't even be audible. Detox is like lowering that music's volume." Then he slowly explained the 3 plans, but through stories. One Sunday morning, Alex thought, "Why not just try it?" he told himself, just 1 day. Just 24 hours, That day, he only opened his phone for necessary calls. The rest of the time, he stayed away from screens. The start wasn't easy. After 2 hours, his hands automatically reached for his phone. Every 5 minutes, his brain said, check. Maybe something new came in, But he stopped himself. He went to the backyard. Felt the breeze. Watched plants soaking up the sun. Spent some time in the kitchen with his mom. Had coffee with his dad. For the first time, he realized, the world isn't just in the phone. It's outside too, And slowly, his mind began to feel lighter. By evening, it felt like heavy fog was lifting from his brain. He smiled. Wow. Just 1 day had this effect, A few days later, he decided to try a 3-day detox. This was trickier because he had college work, friends' messages, everything to manage. But he made a plan, check phone twice a day, no short videos, no binge watching, no games. Just essentials. In 3 days, he felt a strange clarity inside. Like his brain was saying, "Finally, you let me breathe." During these 3 days, he did new things, reading old books, organizing his room, trying sketching, sitting outside watching the sunset. He felt like his brain could now grasp every moment more deeply, like his attention had gotten stronger. And most importantly, his cravings had drastically reduced. After the detox ended, he went back to the park. Mr. Thompson was watering a tree. Alex smiled and said, "Sir, my brain really feels reset. It's like the happiness I used to get from small things has returned. Phone cravings are way down." Mr. Thompson said warmly, "Son, detox isn't magic. It just returns the brain to its true form. And real happiness is found there, when you start feeling joy in simple things. That's when you know your brain is healthy." Alex nodded. "Exactly. I used to think I just needed more stimulation. Now I understand, less can give you more." Mr. Thompson smiled gently. "And remember, detox isn't a one-time thing. It's a kind of cleaning. Just like we clean the house, the brain needs to be lightened from time to time too, so it stays fresh, focused, and calm." Alex silently resolved not to let this new clear window of his mind get foggy again. Alex has discovered the dopamine problem and learned about the power of detox. But can he maintain this clarity when life gets stressful? After the 7-day dopamine detox journey, Alex felt his life was getting back on track. His mind was light, his brain clear, and small joys were returning. But here's an interesting thing, about 10 days after the detox ended, he started feeling a slight restlessness again. It wasn't like before, but his focus was wavering. Sleep got a bit disturbed. And while working, he felt fatigued. He couldn't understand why this was happening. He had reduced phone time. Scrolling was under control. Yet his brain didn't feel as sharp as it did during detox. One evening, sitting in the college library with books open in front of him, his attention wouldn't stick to the pages. His mind was full of questions. Does detox only give short-term effects? Can the old restlessness return? Then he suddenly remembered he hadn't been to the park in days, where he used to talk with Mr. Thompson. The next day, he ran into him right outside his house. Before Alex could ask anything, Mr. Thompson said, "Looks like something's off again. Your face tells everything." Alex didn't hide it. "Sir, everything was good after detox. But now gradually, my brain feels heavy again." "Does detox's effect only last a few days?" Mr. Thompson smiled and shook his head. "No, son. Detox is just the foundation. To build a house, you need a foundation, but you also need the rest of the bricks. You've strengthened your brain's foundation. Now, daily habits are the bricks that will build your real structure." Alex listened more carefully. That day, they didn't go to the park. Instead, they walked through a small lane in the neighborhood to an old pond. The surroundings were peaceful, gentle ripples in the water, a child's distant laughter, rustling trees. Mr. Thompson said, "Look, son. People think that to improve life, you need big changes, like suddenly waking up at 4 a.m. or joining a gym and working out 3 hours. But such big changes don't last long. The brain doesn't like shocks. It likes small nudges, gentle pushes." Alex asked, "You mean small habits make a difference?" "A huge difference," Mr. Thompson said. "Your brain doesn't just get tired from your screen. It gets tired from lack of sleep, bad food, not taking breaks, and running around all day. If you take care of your brain a little every day, it'll support you tenfold." Then Mr. Thompson told a new story about the same town where Marcus lived. In the town, Marcus had a friend named David, calm, simple, but with one problem. He was always tired. Working on the farm, his back would hurt. His mind felt heavy. He'd get irritable over small things. One day, sitting on the ground in the field, his grandfather old Tom asked, "What's wrong, David? Already worn out from work?" David said, "Grandpa, my body doesn't support me. Neither does my mind. I feel exhausted from the morning itself." Old Tom said, "Ask your body and mind what you've done to take care of them. When did you give them rest? When did you give them proper food? When did you sleep peacefully?" David went silent. He realized he was just running, but not taking care of himself. Old Tom said, "You water your crops every day, right? A little at a time. If you dump 10 buckets in one day, what happens? The field floods, but the crop doesn't grow." The body and mind are the same. They need small, daily care. David started 3 small habits following his grandfather's advice: sleeping on time every night, light morning exercise, and sitting in the tree's shade for 10 minutes at noon. At first, he thought, what effect will such small habits have? But within a month, his fatigue halved. His mind sharpened. And instead of avoiding work, he started doing it willingly. He understood, big things tire you. Small things stick, ****. After finishing the story, Mr. Thompson looked at Alex. "Get it? The brain also needs these small habits, like good sleep, good food, a little walking, a little peace, a little breathing, a little sunlight. Together, these balance your brain's dopamine system." Alex asked, So is this called biohacking? Mr. Thompson laughed. Oh, biohacking isn't rocket science. Giving the body what it needs is biohacking. With small nudges, the brain's system automatically starts optimizing itself. Then he explained one by one. The brain's biggest battery is sleep. The deeper the sleep, the clearer the thinking. Detox won't work if sleep is poor. If you sleep at the same time every night, your brain knows when to repair itself. The brain cleans itself at night, like someone cleaning a house. If sleep is broken, cleaning remains incomplete. Alex remembered that lately, he'd been staying up late chatting or studying. Maybe that's why his brain felt tired again. In your stomach, there are billions of tiny organisms. The gut biome. They affect your mood, stress, and dopamine. If your food is poor, too oily or too much junk, your brain gets disrupted too. Alex laughed. So the brain's mood depends on food? Absolutely, Mr. Thompson said. What goes into the stomach affects the brain, not directly, but definitely impacts it. If the gut biome is strong, the brain stays calm. Alex realized he'd been eating fast food a lot lately. Maybe that's why his mind felt heavy. Son, walking is like meditation. It resets the brain on its own. It's a small thing, but the effect is huge. Alex thought back to the detox days. He'd walk every evening, and his brain truly felt clearer then. Small 10-minute breaks during the day are essential. Without your phone, just watch your breath or listen to sounds around you. These breaks do for the brain what rain does for a field, freshness. Alex remembered that in the library, he'd sit for hours without getting up. That's why both mind and body got stiff. Morning sunlight regulates your circadian rhythm. And deep breathing calms your nervous system. Both are free, both are simple, both are powerful. Mr. Thompson added, all these things seem very small, but they build consistency. The brain loves consistency. Dramatic changes scare it, but small habits make it stronger. Alex took a deep breath. He knew now that detox alone wasn't enough. He had to make small daily improvements, a bit of sleep care, some attention to diet, a little walking, a little peace, some mindful moments. Only then would he build lasting internal balance. Over the next few days, without any big plan, he started just 3 small nudges: sleeping at the same time every night, sitting in the sun for 10 minutes in the morning, and taking a 5-minute mindful pause twice a day. At first, he thought, these are such easy things. What will they change, but by the 3rd day, he felt his brain lightening like it did during detox. By the 7th day, he felt he could focus better than before. And by the 10th day, he noticed that studying, working, and conversations all felt more natural. He understood, taking care of the brain isn't about some hero-level transformation. Small nudges keep the brain on track, and these nudges will always be within his control. A little every day, that's the real strength, One evening, remembering David's old story by the pond, he felt Mr. Thompson's words weren't just advice anymore, they'd become part of his life. Brain clarity, mental peace, slow happiness, it all started with detox, but small habits made it permanent. He smiled and thought to himself, Mr. Thompson was right. Big things make noise, but small changes change lives, Alex wasn't just surviving anymore. He was truly living, one moment at a time, slowly but deeply. Dopamine detox, small nudges, and lifestyle changes, all 3 had made Alex's life far better than before. But the real test was still ahead. Life is never a straight line. It goes up and down. And real change is proven when circumstances get tough, yet we still stay on our path. It was December. College project submissions and internal exams hit all at once. On top of that, relatives had come to visit, making the atmosphere even busier. Alex couldn't figure out how to manage everything without slipping back into old patterns. One morning, he went to the library and found every seat full. When he couldn't find a spot, he sat outside on the lawn and opened his laptop. But the longer he tried to study, the faster his attention scattered. On one side, a slight pull toward social media, on the other, stress. How will all this get done? He started feeling restless again. But this time, there was a difference. Now he knew this restlessness wasn't his brain's fault, it was his dopamine signaling's reaction. Before, when he felt this way, he'd blame himself, why can't I focus? Why am I weak? Now he could tell himself, this is my brain, not me. And I have ways to handle it, He remembered how Mr. Thompson had said, when the brain gets balanced, focus, happiness, and work capacity return. The real superpower is understanding and controlling dopamine. That day, Alex decided he would face this stressful period using the same methods he'd learned over the past months. First, he focused on his breathing. He wrote in his notebook, one task, one moment. Don't let the attention baseline get disrupted, He started breaking his work into small chunks, 45 minutes of study, 5 minutes mindful break, then 45 minutes of focused work. Every break, he just sat, listened to the breeze, closed his eyes, or walked a bit. Phone far away. Very far. At first, there was a bit of panic. But by the third session, he felt his brain clearing just like it did during Detox. The line of focus was straightening. In the evening, heading home, he saw his younger sister Emma sitting on the couch, constantly scrolling short videos on her phone. There were faint dark circles under her eyes, and her face showed the exact same restlessness that once marked Alex's. Alex sat next to her and said, "What's wrong? You look tired." Emma snapped angrily, "Nothing works in this life. I'm bored with everything. Can't focus on studies. Don't feel like doing anything. My brain just feels heavy." Alex's heart sank. It felt like time had brought him back to his own old days. The same emptiness, the same fatigue, the same dopamine overload habits. But this time, he could help someone else. Maybe the same help he got from Mr. Thompson. He took the phone from his sister. Sat with her on the balcony for a while and explained, "This tiredness isn't yours. It's your brain's noise. You're feeding your brain such fast things that slow things don't even register anymore. Come on, let's reset a bit today." At first, Emma didn't understand. But when Alex told her his own story, how he himself was caught in this cycle, a glimmer of hope appeared in her eyes. Maybe change spreads in small circles. Over the next few days, despite college stress, Alex managed to maintain his routine. Proper sleep, light walks, mindful breaks, sitting in the sun, avoiding heavy meals, and most importantly, one task at a time. Slowly, he saw that work was getting done on time. Stress was reducing. And his brain was sharper than before. He realized this wasn't willpower, it was wiring. Understanding dopamine meant rewiring the brain. And a rewired brain has no trouble focusing. Then one day, when all his projects were submitted and the last internal was over, he was walking in the park. A light, cool breeze was blowing. Tree leaves shimmered in the daylight. A kid was flying a kite in the distance. He suddenly remembered the first time he came here, how much noise was inside him. A bursting brain, heavy mind, incomplete sleep, scattered thoughts. Today, he was completely different. Calm, clear, controlled. It felt like he had held his own brain's hand and taught it to walk back toward life. Just then, he saw Mr. Thompson sitting on a bench, feeding pigeons grain. Alex went and sat beside him without saying anything. Mr. Thompson looked at him and smiled. "Looks like you've become the master now. Your face shows the machinery inside is running smoothly." Alex laughed. "Yes, sir. My mind feels light now. Work is enjoyable. Studies don't feel like a burden. And most importantly, I don't need instant gratification for everything anymore. I can be happy slowly too. Focus has also returned, not like before, but better. Mr. Thompson said, that's real happiness. When you free yourself from multitasking, overstimulation, and useless cravings, then the brain starts breathing. It becomes more peaceful. Then you immerse yourself in work. Then a person doesn't burn out. And the satisfaction you feel in your mind, that's real happiness. Alex took a deep breath and said softly, now I understand, sir. Real happiness isn't in noise, it's in peace. And peace comes from balanced dopamine. Mr. Thompson put his hand on Alex's shoulder and said, remember this your whole life, son. The real art isn't keeping the brain fast, it's keeping it balanced. That evening, when he got home, his sister Emma was sitting in her room. The phone was kept far away, and she was writing in her journal. She smiled and said, bro, today felt good. The fog in my brain is less than before. Maybe you were right. I just needed a little reset. Satisfaction filled Alex's eyes. Maybe this was the truest result of understanding dopamine, you get better yourself, and then your betterment reaches others. A few weeks later, exam results came. Alex didn't top. But he scored very well, so well that he felt proud. But this time, the pride wasn't just about marks. The pride was that he had achieved all this without exhausting himself, without constantly running, without breaking his sleep at night, without burning his brain. He built a balanced, calm, focused routine. He felt like he hadn't conquered his brain, he'd made friends with it. He understood now that uncontrolled dopamine pulls you down, toward distraction, multitasking, anxiety, burnout. But regulated dopamine lifts you up, toward focus, clarity, productivity, and real happiness. One last time, he went to the park on an evening. Tree leaves were swaying in the breeze. It felt like this place had become part of his story now, a witness to his inner journey. He closed his eyes and smiled. Now there was no noise inside him. Just peace. Just awareness. Just gratitude. His brain had become his again. And life was no longer a reel on a screen, it was a real, steady, felt story. This was the real victory of managing dopamine. This was the end of his journey. And the beginning of a new, calm, balanced journey. Alex learned that detox is just the start, small daily habits are what make change permanent. And when life got stressful, he stayed on track using the tools he'd learned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to One Book for more life-changing book summaries.